April 6, 2025. Sorry about blowing up earlier. I get so frustrated, so hurt by all this. I'm not an agent. I am a victim that called the FBI hotline for help. Got listed in one of their informants. Their agent told all the churches, all the bad guys, threatening to kill me. He knew they were going to kill me. He didn't care. Knew I was being drugged, being raped. Didn't care. Because someone called me a figure 15 years ago. I was a medicationer. Supposed to be mean to someone I never even met or knew existed. It was insanity. Like he told the police he was only acting that way to get the drug dealers. They wanted their drug connections. First, because they said something about a retired Judge Pete up there, supposed to be friends with Ludick, they were looking at the judges up there. Then they were looking where these people impersonated the Portage County sheriffs. They were looking at them for being part of the drug cartel. Okay? Act like they didn't care about a victim. Find out who's all involved. Okay? And they were part of the big bad drug cartel. Okay? And they got him. See, that's where they said on the news in Akron last year. The despicable act of law enforcement should never happen, and it's happening. They're turning women and children back over to drug dealers to get the drug dealers. Should never happen, but it is happening. Where they turn me back over to them to get them. That agent going around telling everybody I called the hotline didn't care they were harming me, didn't care they were trying to kill me. Because someone called me a figure 15 years ago. And somebody said I was mean to them and never didn't even know they existed. Are you freaking kidding me? You're going to kill someone, at least have a good reason. And then their scenario of a doctor from before Hazard tape confessing to these horrible, heinous crimes, but didn't say anything till Dave wanted a divorce, but he's with the killers. And you would think they would fall for that? Go to jail as an accessory, then it's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware. HIPAA, Privacy Act, they go to jail. They're not allowed to disclose anything HIPAA. And then they know people are getting hurt and they have proof of it and they didn't go to the police years ago. Are you fucking kidding me? They go to jail. It's a big scam. Only a retard would fall for that. And you thought that agent was retarded. You thought he was a big patsy. That's why you made fun of him. You know, they even made up the scenario. The agent that told on me is the one going after me. Oh, he would so go to jail. Not only obstruction to justice, tampering with a witness, tampering with evidence, aiding and abetting those crimes. Then embezzlement. You know, in Hartville, some investigators said they think they stole that $10 million from the tip on Drakasami. See, that's where Officer Mark and John, you need to arrest him. They don't pay me. We all know that police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements and a court order without a conflict of interest. No one could be in my home. Even Officer Brian Hart in Louisville, Portage County Sheriff's, criminal attorney, police I talked to, other police departments, Sheriff David Mike DeWine's cousin, criminal attorney. Nobody could be in my home before. That's where they call it like entrapment and illegal search and seizure. It's considered cyber stalking, setting up body cameras, watching someone, listening devices, trying to get information to extort money. That's racketeering. The drugs are rape and attempted extortion. Okay? That's where even my one boss, his sister is a judge in Youngstown. They can run around telling people they were in your home before, but the day they prove it to law enforcement, they are to arrest them. It's cyber stalking. It's a 20-year sentence. Without the racketeering, the kiddie porn of my grandkids going potty, human trafficking me, drugs, rape, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder. The Karen's will from before is some guy named Pete. Dave hired on his own. They're trying to say he's like some kind of attorney up there. And him and his doctor friend, his doctor friend lied. He was a doctor of mine before, supposed to drug me and told me to say blah blah. No, you can't do that. No doctor can tape you unaware. No doctor of mine asked me any criminal questions. I would have screamed at him. That's illegal for them to do that. They're there for medical. They're not criminal investigators. Chew on that one for a second. Then for HIPAA violations, they're not allowed to record you without your knowledge and permission. Got it? And then think about it. They don't ask you crimes. I would have screamed at one of them. I don't take shit from doctors. Bunch of crackpots gave me the wrong medicine years ago, almost killed me. I'll tell you what, some doctor would have asked me a perverted question. I would have looked at them even when I didn't swear and said, "Who do you think you are? I'm reporting you, you sicko and pervert." And walked out. My doctor told me he thought I needed to give up dairy. I told him that's absolutely ridiculous and I will not. Asked me before I got married if I was having unprotected sex with my boyfriend. I told him it was none of his business. Told me they wanted me to keep a diary of what food I ate. I told them that was stupid, and I would not. Yeah. So think about that. Do you think I would tolerate some ass acting like a criminal investigator and they're a medical doctor? I would have told them off. No doctor of mine asked me of any criminal questions. It's just stupid. Oh, some doctor's supposed to have her tape saying da 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 da. No doctor of mine. Like on March 27th, 25, the guy that broke up with Michelle. It's not one of my doctors. He works for them. He's running drug scams. Where they were looking for a drug dealer doing this, it's a doctor. Him and that Pete are running drug scams on people. He was never one of my doctors. I don't even know who he is. That's where, during the case, they said they were getting amnesia drugs from some doctor, and he was supplying them to use on people. There's over 20 prescriptions in high doses will make you sleepwalk, including Valium. And that was one of the things they found in my system when they did a drug test. High levels of Valium mixed with other drugs. They're fake sodium pentothal reports. He's basically making his own day rape drugs. Running drug scams, him and that Pete on people. Setting up button cameras, taping women in the shower, washing yourself. Then photoshopping that in another room in their own personal pervert tapes. Having his perverted doctor friend either go in and stab him with needles in their sleep or have the guys lay something in their drink, the room go dizzy and black, tell the person to say something while they're stoned out of their mind. Have him beaten, raped with no memory of what happened, covered with bruises, seen by all my family physicians. Kept telling him I thought it was a dirty well water. Had orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises all over me, throwing up, almost passing out, including in front of the neighbor by the second week. Severe personal infection till my personal area is so swollen, pushed out and open. And then, yeah, I'd scream when I go pee. I had to be on pills, creams, muscle relaxers, iron pills. They thought I was becoming anemic. I thought the well water, because it was orange, was giving me cancer. Here, it just had high levels of iron in it. And I kept blaming the well water. And we had it tested. I was talking to a doctor about it. She said, you know, if that well water would have had E. coli in it, it would have made you that sick. The bruising, the infection, throwing up, just washing in it. Because you got to think it'd be like washing in poop. Putting all that bacteria on your skin. But I wasn't. There was no E. coli in it. There was only iron bacteria, and iron gas. It was iron making it orange, like rusty pipes. Had to have a water treatment system. Still would never drink it. Brought in bottled waters to cook and to drink with, but you had to wash your hand, take a fast shower. It took us a couple months to get that water treatment system in there. So that's where I didn't, then, like they said, when the case first started, Karen's ex-husband was keeping her so drugged up there. They were drug beating, raping her, and she didn't realize what happened. And neither did the doctor. That's where I went to a nurse. I said, why didn't they think of it? Where I was so drugged up I couldn't think straight. Why didn't they think of it? She said, this nurse said, well, we all know rapists do this. They prey on people in their home. But we try not to leave there. We want to think it's like the dirty well water or an autoimmune or a virus. We don't want to just jump that it's a rapist. See, as a victim, jump it's a rapist. You can always dial it back. Because the world has changed. You know, back 7 years ago, there was children playing on the streets, riding their bikes, people out walking, enjoying their time off, getting out, getting fresh air, and enjoying the small town life. There's nobody. Nobody. Why? Because the human traffickers stole our way of life. I lived in New York. I grew up in a society worse than this, where at dark the bikers showed up. You never let the bikers find you. They disappear if they find you. The drug dealers would come out even in residential areas, sell drugs, and the prostitutes in residential areas. They caught you out, you weren't dealing with them, they'd kill you or beat you. The mafia would burn down businesses, homes, demand protection money. I grew up in the 70s in Buffalo. It was a horrible place. I told you one time I went to come home from my friend's house. It wasn't quite almost dusk, but it was just getting late. And I went to go home and the bikers showed up early. And there was this giant like catwalk that went across like a 5-6 lane highway. I had to hide in the metal girders. And I was under 10. Because if they find you, you disappear. And when they took off the catwalk because they were riding up and down it, I ran across that thing and I ran like a half a mile home to a mile. Didn't quit running until I got there. See, that's where I would tell people, you need to tell on these people. You don't want this area to become like New York. See, when I moved here, you couldn't be out at dark. And when I moved here, people right at dark, when in the summertime, people would get out and start walking because it was cooler. And I'd never seen anything like that except for in Canada or a state park. It wasn't safe to be outside your home. It was so foreign to me. I remember when the neighbor girls, hey, it's getting dark, it's cooling down, you want to go for a walk? We were not allowed. Oh, it's safe here. And then all these people came out of their houses and started walking. People would have cookouts. Kids would play in the yard. You didn't do that, but in Canada, our state park, you could get hurt or taken. Now, we have a version of that here in Ohio. They stole their way of life. You don't want them getting away with setting up button cameras in people's homes on their own. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements with a court order without a conflict of interest. Like Officer Reinhardt in Louisville, even the FBI would go to jail for being in your home outside that protective light case with statements. He had statements of everyone in that home under a threat of life. He also had to have a court order. And you can't have a conflict of interest. Nobody could be in my home before. It's the right to privacy over your house. The right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person. Okay? No one can touch you unless you want them to. Your places, your homes, your papers, and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. Your home can't be violated. That's where the prosecutor's office said they made the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause warranted. with the oath or affirmation of the people, places, or things to be searched or seized. Because of that right, the right to remain quiet and the right to an attorney, police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements, with a court order, without a conflict of interest like Officer Reinhardt in Louisville. You can't even have a conflict of interest, friends or family. That's where they keep telling you, like the prosecutor's office is a big fraud scheme where they laugh in your face in front of people in stores that they photoshopped a shower scene of you washing yourself in the shower in the other room. They probably did. It's clicking and pasting. Where they laugh at you in front of people in stores that they had drugged you up and told you to say something stupid. They probably did. You had all the signs of being drugged, beaten, raped, seen by the doctor for injuries you couldn't explain and no memory. Somebody was hurting you. And they are claiming it's them, the fake sodium pentothal reports. When they did a drug test for Ohio Catholic in August of 19, they found high doses of Valium mixed with a bunch of other drugs. They're fake sodium pentothal reports. I heard the manager complaining she has enough drugs in her system to knock out a horse. And she's up walking around. That's part of the reason I couldn't concentrate. They're still breaking and stabbing me during the case. But that FBI agent, John, he told all the police he's only acting that way to get the drug dealers. Okay? He was tricking them. We all know he went around telling all the churches he didn't care they were trying to kill me. Didn't even blame him for trying to kill me. Because someone called me a baker 15 years ago and I was a medication error. And somebody said I was mean to him that I never met. And I didn't even know who they were. Was going to turn me back over to him. He was going to defraud him. Confessed on a recorded line. He met with everyone. Even laughed at me about some guy named Pete running a scam on me. Still, yeah, I didn't even know who he was. And it should be that guy that showed up in 19 that was walking around. I thought it was David's divorce attorney, and it wasn't him. And said something about an attorney for Dave and telling people to harass me. And I thought, why is Dave having his divorce attorney harass me? I went to a divorce hearing and it wasn't him. Thought it was that guy. Why, they just impersonated him? Another scam? Well, then showed up last month in Carrollton. I thought, I've heard your voice before, heard those things before. Oh my God, you're that guy. You must be that guy Pete they're talking about. That Dave hired on his own. Was mocking FBI agent John. Thought he got fired over this, calling him an idiot. See, they talked about that agent like he's the biggest doofus in the world and laugh at him. How they fooled him with their stun and taser fire. Ha ha ha. Sheriffs have their confession. Says the FBI, they fooled him. June 7th, 23. How they made a big fool of the federal government. Now, Officer Mark and Officer John, you all know he told on me. You all know, just like a criminal attorney, the prosecutor's office, and police I talked to, he don't even have authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. It's not in a court order. Only a judge can because of the freedom of speech. Can put a gag order on you. Police officers don't have that kind of authority, nor can they even try to take your freedom of speech away. It's illegal. And agents are only hire police officers. And then on top of it, he told like 1,000 people I called FBI, then it becomes stupid. He confessed he told. And then he made fun of me for that guy Pete running a scam. Something about a doctor, didn't know who it was. And I thought maybe it was that lady that used my insurance. But here it's some guy that works for Pete. Him and his friend are running drug scams on people. I found out he lied to people, telling people he was one of my doctors from before. Was not even one of my doctors. I don't even know who he is. That's where March 27th, 25, that guy that broke up with Michelle was announcing outside my clients in Hartville. That guy that they're saying is one of her doctors from before is not even one of her doctors. She don't even know who he is. He works for them. That's where they said they were getting the amnesia drugs from to use on people, running drug scams on people. He's not one of my doctors. I mean, you got to think of their scenario. It's illegal. It's right on Google for a doctor to tape you unaware because of HIPAA and Privacy Acts. They're not allowed to disclose anything you say to them, okay, because of privacy. Then they're supposed to know of heinous crimes of people getting hurt and then didn't tell the police till Dave wanted a divorce. They go to jail as an accessory. They didn't think out their scam. No doctor of mine has ever asked me any criminal questions. I would have screamed at him and walked out. I would have. Like some ladies showed up back on April 2nd. Anybody would have yelled at them if they would ask you such a perverted question. Of who do you think you are, you big sicko? I want to report you, you pervert. I don't take shit from people like that. And nor did I ever see or talk to anybody. Nor did I even have my neighbors in my home. I would take a drink out of a Diet Coke. The room would go dizzy and black, wake up with black and blue marks, throwing up, almost passing out, and a severe swollen personal infection or injection marks. When the case first started, they tried to tell people they had sodium pentothal reports. In here, there are a bunch of drugs that doctor mixes together and make his own concoctions of date rape drugs on people he doesn't even know. Do you know how illegal that is? Racketeering is a 20-year sentence. And that lady where the FBI, where they thought they left, they tricked them. They've been all over me for 6 years. Getting information on the drug cartels, where they hired, where those 2 agents showed up, look at all the people they hired. To hurt her, we can use her as bait. Come on. They used me as bait, a victim. Where they said it, the despicable act of some law enforcement, turning women and children back over to the drug dealers to get the drug dealers. It's evil, but effective. Open an informant case with money immunity, with statements, a court order, legally bug their phone, their car, their home. Send them back in. Tell them you don't care what they do. Let them abuse the hell out of them. Laugh in that victim's face, who they work for, think that they're unstoppable, that the law don't care about them, and then go get them later. And they can't be disputed. It's under police surveillance with a court order. It's like a bunch of dumbasses. We got you. We don't even need her. We got the court order, we got police surveillance with the court order. And that agent telling on me, making fun of me for that. I didn't even know who he was. I still don't. He's just some guy they hired. That's where last week down at Dutch Valley Restaurant, that heavy-set white lady sitting there on the phone. I already got $12,500 involved in this. Oh, Karen's will. Karen's will is that guy named Pete that Dave hired on his own and his doctor friend. Running drug scams on people. They're messed up in the Florida and the Texas drug cartel. They wanted their drug connections because they were the human traffickers. Where the police tell you it was a drug cartel in my home, they consider Pete and his doctor friend drug cartel. Get it? When I go to walk out of Dutch Valley, she used to walk out before me, standing at the bottom of the steps looking up at me and my new husband. Some guy walked out. I heard what Karen said, what she would have said to a doctor if they would even ask her such a question. That it's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware. Well, one of their guys already told on them that it's not even one of her doctors. He works for them. They may have to take care of him. You know he's a federal agent, right? You want to threaten him again. You want to threaten him again. Dare you. That's where March 23rd, 23, we told these people to stay out of it. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And some lady thought she could make money out of it. Racketeering is a federal crime. I find out who you are. I will make sure everybody from the Secretary of State to the Department of Justice, to every law enforcement, and then everybody I can contact to spread your name around. And then I'm going to get an attorney and sue you for being part of the people drug, beat, raping me and causing those injuries and trying to extort money out of drugs and framing me and harming me. I can own you. Run around telling people they can get money out of that. Like this one guy was a retired police officer, went into a sheriff, and then went into being a paralegal. These people are looking at it stupid. You don't get money out of this. You go to jail for it. Or a criminal attorney. No one could do this. No one could be in your home, not even the FBI. Outside that protected like case with statements. Officer Reinhardt Louisville, the Portage County Sheriff's. Mike DeWine's cousin, Sheriff David. No one could be in my home. Get the idea how stupid you guys are? The cartel wants you to believe they can break in your home, tape you showering, take a shower scene and washing yourself and put it in another room, break in, lace a drink, or stab you with a date rape drug. Tell you say something stupid, beat and rape you. How would you like to take a drink out of a drink? The room go dizzy and black, wake up with giant bruises all over you, hand marks bigger than yours, arms, neck. Personally are so swollen you can't hardly pee, you can't hardly stand up and you're throwing up. Tell the doctor what on earth is wrong with me. Here you've been drugged, beaten, raped, and drugged up and told to say stuff makes you sick when it wears off. And no memory of anything. It's evil to play with somebody like that. It is documented and verified by the police and the FBI that I was framed before, and it was a drug cartel. They consider Pete and his doctor friend drug cartel. And those tapes are illegal stalking tapes. And they already know that wasn't one of my doctors. He works for them. And like the police said, we always knew he wasn't one of Karen's doctors because none of her doctors could ever go in and talk to Will. But where I turned in that thing for trichotomy, where Michael Peterson was bragging to me online that he was dealing with trichotomy. And I kept telling him I didn't believe him, that he was going to bring, as a third party, bring oil into the United States. Didn't believe him, made him send me proof of a letter of allegation, big money transfers. Got when he was leaving, where he was staying, the port it was coming back in the state that was buying smuggled oil. They arrested him for that, Rakasamy and 50 other people for smuggling oil out from underneath the country and for some other crimes he was messed up in. There was a $10 million reward. They've been breaking. They stole $10 million from my case and my $5,000 a month for the last 7 years. That agent that opened my case embezzled every dime. You need to arrest him for that. Wanted the money to help my family. Dave threatened to kill them all. The FBI knew that. I called down to that office. I Googled it because after that agent was so mean to me, I didn't believe it was real. So I Googled him. And I found him. And it's like they yelled out, he's got a list. I'm working on it. They documented Dave was threatening Dixie and the baby's life. And they had a list of people they're going to do this to. It's a big fraud scheme. Like the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, my one friend that worked there, he said, Karen, they did the biggest mistake. They did it at your home. It's a fraud scheme. Where they laugh in your face in front of people in stores. This is a prosecutor's office, already knows this. That they photoshopped you showering and washing yourself in the shower in the other room. They probably did. It's clicking and pasting. Where it had all the signs of being drugged, being raped. And you had to be seen by the doctor. And nobody thought of a rapist. Somebody was hurting you. They probably did drug you up until you say something stupid. It's a big fraud scheme. They did the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. It's a right to privacy. You know, these people, even on March 13, 21, the nurse at Mercy Medical, a lady came in and she was telling them, no man was ever to touch her. That was supposed to be part of my agreement. Okay? A nurse comes in with a guy. The only thing they have you on is adjusting yourself. The guy's like, that's sick. I said, no, it's funny. She simply wiped water off with clothes on. He said, that's sick. She said, no, it's funny. She just brushed it off. They didn't have anything else. It's actually really funny. That's all they had. That's where even the cartel was running around, you know, when they admitted they put clips together, put her in porn, it's not her, it's them, March 1st to 3rd of 21. Then after that, they start saying stuff that never happened. Made my stomach bleed. And then it sounds like maybe you put my head on somebody else's body. Then what would you be doing? It sounds like you're undressing, got in the shower, went outside to smoke. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, May 26th, 22 at noon. First month of the case, a little white man showed up at Walmart 62. For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn on you. Try to leave Dave, I'll list your child molester. You know that bruise on your leg, I use sodium pentothal on you. He used to date Ray Duck. My sleep, another black and blue mark. Something about a wrong nightgown and butt lie and life of pain because somebody's supposed to see your tushy. What a stupid lie. Had Dave debunk it, got away from that freak. I was dressed modestly and they was seeing the back of my knees, but he admitted he worked for Dave and he was drugging me up and telling me to say lies. More of them laughing how they photoshopped all their lies, made everything up on me, drugged me and told me to say all kinds of crazy crap. We had bruises before, throwing up and infected. It was us. We were drug beating, raping you. We had drugged you up and told you to say this. We had drugged you up and told you to say that. We photoshopped all our lies. That's how they put it. Raised some guy named Chris out of the room. Never had a Chris in my house. By January 1922, they said they photoshopped a feminine wipey above the toilet in another room to make me look weird. Okay? There's a cartel playing with me. Okay? Laughing in my face at what they did to me. Okay? What was it? January 22. A lady, I was in a bathroom on 12th Street in Canton in the morning. A ladies group was outside the bathroom door. They were all talking. They were from Ravenna. We came down here to make sure everybody knows we made a big mistake being in her home before. She's never said she did anything wrong before. And when she simply wiped off the water with clothes on, she went straight down, didn't expose herself, as if anybody would care about that. And those people raped her. I had people drive by, yell, fuck you, bitch, yell curse words at me, swarm me, come in store swearing at me, and they all scattered. Because they confessed. They had nothing on me. December 20th, 24, on Bob Evans, they said they were people that were doing this were driving around laughing, getting people to fall for it again. That they only have me on simply brushing off water with clothes on, and that I never said I did anything wrong before. How many times in the case did they all say, we all know Karen never said she did anything wrong before? They can't make anything out of just brushing off water with clothes on. Well, until they photoshopped it to be a shower scene. Even lady investigators in May of 19 or May of 2020 showed up and said, well, you didn't expose yourself. You're good because you just brushed it off. Then in 21, there were so many versions of it, where there was one with no wrongdoing and no wrong saying. Then there's supposed to be ones with drugs and told to say weirdo stuff. Then there's one supposed to be completely naked showering, washing yourself in the shower in another room so it makes you look weird. One that they're supposed to put clothes on me and it's supposed to look like you're being weird with clothes on. That's crazy. The whole thing is crazy. Like a lady investigator said, there are so many versions of the tapes before. I never want to hear them again. February, March of 22, they told the client next to where I was working that Pete ordered everything to be drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. She told the Canton FBI. 22. Those two young guys that remind you of Joshy have been around me since 18. They're the ones that had the huddle the day after Thanksgiving of 18 with the police. Why they have those kids make that shit up? Because, Mel having those kids make up the mean games of pretend trying to scare me out of my house for Michelle. And I guess she got caught telling the kids to lie. She was friends with Michelle, my ex-husband's girlfriend. Had the kids do some mean games of pretend, trying to scare me into giving up at the house. And they told them that. They said, why are they having those kids make that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her out of the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. They were the same ones, June 23rd to July 4th of 21, Walmart 62 by the paint aisle. What are these people talking about? We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never heard anyone. Girls that dated the drug dealers by the paint aisle. Oh my goodness, the boys had a drugger to make her say that stuff. Nobody mentions those tapes again. They were the same ones, March 23rd, 23, came in Walmart 62, screamed it out. We told these people stay out of it. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never heard anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And some lady thought she could make money out of it. I think that some lady showed up at that Dutch Valley restaurant in Sugar Creek. Walked out before me. And when I walked out, she talked to that guy that walked out after me. He said, I heard what Karen would have said if some doctor would even ask her some kind of question like that. And he started laughing. She'd tell them all. And that it's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware. And she said, well, one of their guys have been telling on them that doctor wasn't even one of hers. He works for them. And they may have to take care of him. You know he's a federal agent, right, honey? You want to threaten him again? Want to threaten him again, honey? You're the some lady, aren't you? An extortionist, thinking that she can make money off of racketeering. Thinking very stupid of this. Starr County sheriffs in uniform have even admitted they caught Melissa telling her kids to lie. Made fun of some guy named Kurt, 21. FBI case. They family charged the sheriffs in uniform because they sold a log in there. They will look right at people. We worked that informant case that agent opened with her. Cartel was in there breaking their crime, selling the log, and impersonating the FBI, impersonating the Portage County sheriffs. The people that tortured me, bashed my skull, and Michelle was there. With the drug cartel, the people from Florida, the ones that work for Judge Peters. Yeah. Get the idea? That's where the Starr County sheriffs in uniform were laughing if that Kurt just found out those kids were letting his law. Illegally bugged house. In the basement, they got caught stating that they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa Grandma to get out. And then later on to Flora that they made everything up. Like Officer John stopped men at the door January 19th, 22. What did those kids get caught stating? They made everything up. 4:55 p.m. Screamed at him. Like Flora, October 23rd, 2019. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Documented me games of pretend. That's how the police put it. I was in Carrollton like a month ago, and they were trying to pull the scam of Melissa and her lies. Someone called the police. They looked her up. They were documenting me games of pretend. People were calling for her arrest. October 5th, 21, they were talking about that girl lying in Huntington Bank, and they were talking about her lying everywhere. Everywhere. Because they sold login. And the client I was with, we go to leave. He said, "Who's that crazy Melissa? They talk about lying everywhere we go." I said, "My ex-daughter-in-law, friends with ex's girlfriend, had the kids on Thanksgiving of 18 make up mean game or pretend in front of the police." He's like, "They're still talking about that girl lying, and it's been years, and it's everywhere we go. All we hear about is that girl lying." Oh, they talked about lying in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Illinois. You sold the log and you made it public? Yeah. That and the drug. You guys admitted a framing me March 22, like Officer Mark, tall white guy with white hair. It's documented and verified she was framed before, and it was a drug cartel in her home before. And it's documented and verified it was a medication error that made her sick before, and another woman was even using her insurance. These people even made fun of FBI agent John June 7th, 23, how they fooled him with their son taster for Lighthouse Tabernacle Melissa's Church, how they publicly made a fool of the FBI and publicly called him out by name, how they fooled him. Them and the cartel cackling at him. They were in September 23, they were talking about it up in Akron, how the cartel made fun of the FBI, how they fooled them with their stunner taster before. Publicly made fools out of them. See, that's where the police in May of 24 in Myers, North Maine, had told the lady that it's ridiculous for anybody to insult her. She almost died to save children. They threatened to kill my whole family, and I let them go after me to get them caught. And I was raped, tortured, skull bashed in, almost shot driving, had to hide on a shooting night, faced 6 stalkers, got drugged till I lost 70 pounds, got human trafficked and raped and tortured, trying to save my family and let them get information to stop them. Do you love your family that much? I do. They don't even know it. That's why the police that work my case get furious. Anybody insults me. And I said the police said they always knew their backup plan. If she didn't die, were stalking tapes where the weird with yourself is photoshopped of washing yourself in the shower. They always knew that. And that they had drugged her and told her to say it before. It was a backup plan, trying to extort money or things from her if she didn't die. They always knew that. See how many times cops have showed up? We always knew that weird with yourself was a shower scene and washing yourself. You could tell they photoshopped it. And you can tell she was drugged when they drugged her and told her to say it before. It's not even funny. You can tell she was drugged. They always knew. Never fooled them one bit. Matter of fact, if you pull the case in 18, he actually tells the police, that agent, he was going to go after you for trying to defraud him, that you thought he could actually fall for something like that. He was mad. So unless the FBI if he doesn't give me my money, and he did take advantage of this case and steal, Officer Mark and John, you need to arrest him. Because he may have stole $10 million in embezzlement. You cannot let somebody steal from the federal government when the DOJ finds out. I mean, seriously. The corruption of, if he's as bad as they are. And let alone he stole probably $300,000 or $400,000 that were meant for me over a 6-year period. And every month he gets my $5,000 to put in his dirty pocket. You can't let a dirty cop steal from cases. And we, like the prosecutor's office, criminal attorney, police, you can't put restrictions on anything. It's for working the case and risking your life to get them information only. I'm going to upload this, but I need your help. I'd appreciate it. And that lady, you need to get her, because they're threatening to take care of Michelle's ex-boyfriend. We're telling on him that that doctor's not one of mine. He works for them. The drugs and told to say it before guy, where they got the amnesia drugs from. The guy that is going around drugging up private people in their homes, helping out in drug scams on victims. That guy was never one of my doctors.